It's that time again! It's the Berkey and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's gonna get wild, it's gonna get wacky, it might even get a little zany. We're gonna talk about board games and the board game industry. And, you know, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about!
Hey, hey, hey! We are live. It's the Berkey and the Badger and Sir Jamie Keagy of the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast.
Hey now, Badger and Berkey, how are you guys doing?
We're doing well. We enjoy technology, don't we all?
Yes, we do. Only a little bit of time spent trying to figure out the technology, huh?
If people could peel back the curtain and see what happens right before the show starts, right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, today we have a super fun show called You're Fired. We're going to talk about games that have been replaced by other games, and we're going to have our good friend Jamie Keagy talk about that. But Barry, why don't you go through a little bit about what we're going to talk about on the show today?
Yeah, no problems. This is episode number 80, where you fired. No, you fired. You're going to be fired. We're going to have a... You're fired. No. When you're your own boss, who do you fire?
I fired myself about 20 times, I got to tell you.
Well, at least you got your job back.
Yeah, I get my job back. I plead with myself, and then I get back in good graces.
So we're going to start the show by having a quick roundup of what's been going on in Babblot, because it is a big, big city in the middle of medieval, rural world. And then we're going to do our roundup of rumors and things that make our King Berkey go, and do that thing with his beard. And then we are going deep down into the dungeon to interrogate our special guest, a special prisoner. When I say special guest, special prisoner, Mr. Jamie Keagy, who has been caught graffitiing.
Hopefully I'll get a stay of execution at some point.
Yes. That's why we have our trial by 3 questions. Trial by death. No. And then we're going to finish off with our Babble Suck section, which is about games that have been fired from our collections. That sounds more sinister than it really is, but yeah.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about. But before we do, Barry, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, you know, the usual stuff this time of year. It's been a very hot year, and so the vendange, the grape harvest, has moved forward. So I did that a couple of weeks ago and hurt myself, but it's done. So we have lots of grape juice. Unfortunately, because of the virus, we're not allowed to sell as much. We weren't able to sell as much champagne as previous years, and so we didn't need to collect as much. So it's been a bizarre year. So yeah, the grapes are in. I'm in pain, but I'm still smiling, because you kind of like forget when you sat at your office all day, you kind of forget that you've got back problems, and then it's all of a sudden, let's do some physical stuff for a week, yeah, and then first instant, that first grape that you can't. It's like and then you've got to survive the next 5 days. So yeah, that's been done, but I'm back in the office and I'm back to work with soundtracks. I'm still working on the Titan soundtrack. I need to start the Kemet soundtrack. I'm finishing off the soundtrack for Dungeons & Dragons Curse of Strahd at the moment. I'm about halfway through that, and then that's going to start being released. And I've just heard that they're doing a new edition of this adventure. So
awesome.
Hopefully the soundtrack will tie in with that. And also just tied up a few loose ends for the new Chronicles of Crime, as well as something else. But the Seventh Citadel, which starts the end of this month.
Wow.
Yes. So yeah, I've been busy in here, banging out sound when I'm not, with the family. And the family are back to normal as well. School's back open, so I have to take the little one to school, and then I have to pick him up dinner time, and then I have to feed him, cook him, clean him, send him back to school, and then come back. Kind of removes a part of your day.
Him and then send him back to school as a casserole or something?
I based him. In paint. And then when he comes home from school at the end of the day, Mum comes home from the end of the school day. She's like, "Oh, you've been painting today, Robin?" And he's like, "No, it's me. I pasted him."
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's go nonstop here. My mind is totally blown. But anyway,
go ahead.
I was going to say, what have you been doing?
I've been doing what we've been doing all along. We've just been all hands on deck doing fulfillment at Game Toppers, which has been very exciting, actually, because we're totally done with the United States fulfillment. So that's fantastic. Our Canadian shipment was shipped out last week, so people in Canada will be getting their orders soon. And now we're packing up the European container, and we'll be done with that in about a week. So things are moving along great that way, but it's just a lot of work and a lot of things going on. So it's hard to balance all the other things that you have to do in life too. And then, but all is going really well. So we're really excited about all that and shipping out product every day. Sales have been really good. People love the Game Toppers. And so that's been exciting. And I think I'm right alongside you though, but my problem with pain in my body, that started when I was 40 years old, and it just has gone on for 15 years. Because I'm still 18 in my head, so we had a big grub problem in our front yard. And I mow 3 acres of grass. I have 11 acres on our property. And the grubs took over, and then the skunk came in and started ripping up my lawn. I had to deal with the skunk. That was not fun, but I did it. And then I got grub killer down, and I mean, it was all out war. I like to mow my grass, dang it. I got to listen to the Secret Cabal Gaming podcast when I mow my grass.
Yeah.
It's the thing I love to do, dang it. So anyway,
with that many acres, you could probably get through the whole episode in one mow.
I actually do. I get through the whole episode in one mow.
So what's that? 3 mows a year? So you listen to actually 3 episodes, and that's it.
Well, it's right. Like it's hard in the winter time, right? Because I can go out and only shovel snow for so long. But anyway, I put out I reseeded and prepared the entire lawn for grass seed, and then I put down 16 bales of straw spread out across. It took me like 8 hours straight to do it all day. And then the next day, man, I am so sore I can hardly stand up. I can't think straight. Part of getting old, I guess.
Tell me about it.
It's a lot of manual labor you're busy with out there.
I know. It's like
he's a manual guy. He's a manual guy.
Well, I had a quote to have it done professionally. They wanted $1,800.
Yeah.
Good grief. I can do this.
And now you're regretting it.
And I don't know if I regret it, but I'm sure in pain. So what have you been up to, Jamie?
Well, just really, my life has not changed drastically in the past 6 months. On obviously, podcasting is my business, right? That's my day job now, and for the past 3 years, and my days are still done sitting in front of the computer here working on podcasts every single day. And that's pretty much what we've been going through and doing, working on the videos, working on the podcast mostly. And day in and day out. The thing that's just changed is obviously we aren't going out as much anymore, right? So I'm not having game nights. Our favorite pub that we used to go to and play games every week was Beer Mongers. They closed down. We haven't been going lately, but they closed down, and that was just a nightmare for us because we got to find a new place for our public game nights, and we're not having our game nights here regularly. D&D has gone online, and that one after playing D&D for over 20 years at a table, trying to do it online, it just doesn't work with us that well. I mean, we do it, we have a great time, it's fun, but man, we are chomping at the bit to get back to playing at the table again. And we're starting to slowly sort of integrate some in-person gaming back in. Yesterday I had a long miniatures gaming day with Aaron from our role-playing show. We played Warcry, we played Gaslands all day long, and it was absolutely wonderful, and no manual labor all day long. It was just whiskey and miniatures games, and we had a wonderful time. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep up with as much gaming as possible because, being a podcaster, I got to keep up with the games. I got to be playing games,
right?
And we're not playing as many games, so we got to go online. We got and play them, but trying to get them back to the table as much as possible. And I try to get my wife, Melanie, to play games with me as often as possible. Doesn't happen as much as I'd like, but she sometimes says, "All right, I'll throw you a bone here. We'll play a game with you." So we're managing. We're making do with the situation at hand.
And out comes Carcass onto the table, and you're like, "Okay, I can man up to this."
That's right.
Well, I was talking to Rob Rouse the other day, our Facebook messaging, and we were just talking about how the convention, not going to conventions, is starting to gnaw at us. At first, I was talking to Kira Peevely the other day too, and we talked about the same thing. It's like for a while there, it was just great that it was kind of like, man, we've been going to convention to convention to convention. I did 14 conventions, and it was kind of like, a little bit of a break here almost. But then it was like, hold it, now I'm starting to really feel the loss of being with my friends and being, I don't do well by myself. I want to be with people.
Yeah. Should we slide into that subject while you're talking about cons?
Really, it's a great segue, right? And it's because I'm a professional podcaster.
And I'm not, because I talked over Jamie. I'll never be a guest on Jamie's show.
It was perfectly seamless until you pointed it out. I mean,
that's the problem, right? But virtual gaming conventions was the topic about things that make us go, I got an email today from the UK Games Expo, and they were asking questions about next year's live convention, if they're able to hold it, but then also feedback about this year's virtual convention. Of course, we had all kinds of different virtual conventions. And, my perspective on them is I don't really enjoy going in and doing it personally. Part of it is I'm really busy, so it's kind of mentally taxing for me to do it digitally. Just to spend days on the computer going through, that's my perspective. And so honestly, I haven't done very much at all with all the virtual conventions. I've been a part of a couple of them as sponsors and things like that, but I'm really not engaging. But how do you feel this is going to happen in the future once we start getting back with one another? Are virtual conventions still going to be a part of the landscape? That's what kind of made me go, I wonder how much of this is going to start being more regular.
Honestly, I think that the concept of virtual convention was obviously born out of necessity, right? Like we needed to have them. The Gen Con's gone, Origins is gone. All these new games are coming out. These publishers rely on these conventions as their marketing tools, one of their major marketing tools, and it was gone. And these things were born out of that necessity. And I think it was sort of a happy thing that happened because, like you say, are they going to go away? I don't think they're going to go away. As a matter of fact, I think they're going to do them in addition to physical in-game or in-person conventions. You talk about Origins and Gamma.
Mhm.
when they had Origins Online that they were gonna do, and then there was a whole debacle that happened, and the whole thing kind of just went away at that point. Their sort of plan was to do that Origins Online, and that would sort of kickstart their whole Twitch stream, their Twitch account, that they were going to start doing things more often throughout the year. And I think that's great for somebody like Gamma, who has like 2 things a year. They have Origins and they have the trade show. And me not being that integrated into the industry, I don't know what they do the rest of the year. Is this their 2 things that they plan all year for these 2 things? And obviously they have an organization that they help, local game stores and distributors and all this other stuff. That's the point of their organization. This is an opportunity for a lot of these conventions to have additional events throughout the year that aren't physical conventions. And I think that's awesome. If you ask me personally, I don't understand how it's fun exactly. Everybody that goes to a convention goes to it for a very different reason. If you ask me what I go to a convention for, I go because I get to spend time with people. You talked about you're missing all your friends, Berkey. That's exactly the reason that I miss it. I've met so many great, wonderful, like long time lasting friends. You guys are 2 of them, right? Like, we see each other at conventions. We talk, we do a podcast together. Sometimes we text or whatever, but usually we spend time together at the conventions. That's why I go. Now, I'm sure there are other people that go there to see the new releases in person and get demos and stuff. And those people, these online conventions would be great for. So I think there is a market for an online convention going forward once again.
Yeah, that's it. When I posted the live show today on Twitter, I posted a picture of all of us on those Lime scooters at Gen Con last year.
Yes, that was so fun.
It was so
dangerous
crazy
but fun.
We're just a bunch of old guys out there just cranking on those things, and those are and then we went to Rathskeller's, that wonderful German restaurant that we like. And
one of the things that hurts my heart that we couldn't be in Indianapolis this year, because I needed that Rathskeller's. I need that hot mustard and the pretzels. And
yes.
So
and Izzy and Harriet's, with the horseradish shrimp, so. But do you have any thoughts on that, Barry?
Yeah. Virtual cons have been going on already, in my opinion. BGG do a virtual con at every con. I mean, I can't get to a lot of these conventions, and so I will sometimes switch on Twitch and watch them stream live. And so there you go. I've had virtual cons of Essen since 2010.
There you
2011, I think. So I mean, it's something which has been there, but because the actual thing is not there, everyone has gone, okay, right, we have to put this online. And I think maybe we will start seeing some big publishers. I know Board Game Geek, Dice Tower, and maybe some other smaller publisher game people like them will be live streaming from conventions in the future, because it's a way of, 1, promoting themselves, 2, promoting the games, especially. So there'll probably be more people on hand for companies to go to all these different booths and do these live demonstrations. Can you imagine Essen? There's like 3 German companies doing it, 4 American companies doing it, and this poor demonstrator's got to go around to all the stands, demonstrate the games to all of them live streamed, which is good in a way, because that's another audience. As I said, people don't always get to go to conventions. I don't always get to go to the States, but
it kind of seems like to me, though, too, and maybe I'm off base here, but we have so many of us people that are in the media community that are presenting all these new board games and creating videos, and now a lot of people are doing live video playthroughs as well. So aren't we already doing that, but now we're just trying to compress it and put it into a one-stop place where you can go all day long and virtually look through it? And I don't know.
I think a lot more people will probably, after doing a lot of live playthroughs and live games rules explanations, I think they're going to stick with it, because number one, when you're actually doing a video, I mean, Jamie can speak, and you can definitely speak from experience, making a video explaining the rules of a game can be laborious. It could take you up to a week to create a video review for a game. Whereas if you're doing it live, it just takes you that time that you're live. You know, if you've got people asking questions, you can answer them there and then once you're done, you pack it away. That's that video done. Whoa, that was a piece of cake. I know I've done them in the past, but I don't find them as professional because I always forget rules, and that's the worst part.
And I think one of the things that is going to be a great aspect, I mean, two points here I want to make. You were talking about, they've always been doing live stream. BGG has been doing live stream from conventions for a long time now, and I think what makes it different is coming at it from a content creator's perspective. Making it an event, like a 3-day event of real content, is something that is good for marketing, right? Good for marketing from the publisher's standpoint, from the content creator's standpoint. So I think that's where this new concept is going to thrive, is now we have an event. This week is going to be the great week of all the new games coming out, and make it sort of like a sort of a high watermark, like a point where the publishers will all look to that week to be, that's when we're going to start releasing things and announcing things, and it'll get more viewers to come in because of that event style. And the second point I want to make is, yes, everybody's been doing these live playthroughs and live coverage of conventions in the past, and some are obviously better than others. And I think with the things that have happened and everybody has been forced to do this now as convention coverage, it's going to make people think smarter about how this content is created and make the content better, and make it more engaging, and learn how to make it actually good content. You were just saying, like, you've done them in the past, you've forgotten some rules and things. Well, now we have to get this right because this is the way it's done, So I think it's going to make content creators innovate and think differently about how they do live convention coverage and make it not boring, right?
Yeah, as well. Yeah. Again, going back, Trick Track, the French board game geek site, has been doing it for years as well. For as long as I can count, a publisher will come up with them with a new game, and they will schedule a day for them, and they'll be in the studio. They will live stream a kind of interview with the designer and the publisher, and then they go offline, and then they come back online, and the publisher will explain the rules, and then they go offline, and then they come back and they do a live playback, and that's all during the course of a day. So they kind of already do this kind of like live promotion. And as I said, they've been doing it for years. They've been doing it longer than probably BGG.
Well, and I know, like, Robert Geislinger, the sales manager at Arcane Wonders, he actually integrated a game topper in Tabletopia, which was with accessories, everything, but then incorporated the gameplay and the videos using these other platforms, which was really innovative. And so you probably might start seeing more of that too, where that it is more engaging and that type of thing. And it says, speaking of Arcane Wonders, we want to give a big shout out. See the segue there? I announced it again, though, didn't I?
Again, pointing it out. Come on.
I was doing so good.
Will my microphone pick up my head slap?
So Arcane Wonders has, of course, the success of Foundations of Rome it was just fantastic. They did a great job, and you can still late pledge for Foundations of Rome, the great Emerson Matsuuchi game. But just recently, it became available in production is Smartphone, you can see behind me, and Smartphone Update 1.1, Smartphone Inc. And this game, we had the opportunity to play last weekend. This is a crunchy Euro game. We had a lot of fun playing this game. Component quality is really amazing. You get to build little retail outlets all over the world, and you're trying to manipulate the price of the phone. So there's kind of this economy, stock market type of aspect to the game, but you're also collecting resources and getting special technologies, amazing double punch out boards in the component quality. But talking with Robert and the team at Arcane Wonders, we're doing a special contest where you can win Smartphone and Smartphone Inc., both of them. And the contest is going to be simply, you can post a picture of yourself doing the smartphone pose. All right, so you take a picture of, you can use either of the artwork and kind of try to mimic it, so to speak. You don't have to get all dressed up or anything like that, but just take a picture of yourself in that pose and hashtag smartphone contest on the Berkey and Badger Facebook page or the Berkey and Badger Twitter feed. And that'll automatically put you in the contest. At the end, we're going to take a look at those hashtags and we're going to select a winner. The contest is going to go through the end of October. So a couple shows worth, and then Arcane Wonders will be giving away smartphone and smartphone 8. Smartphone contest. Well done there, Barry.
All right. Yeah, I think it changed since last time.
Now, Barry,
anyway.
We did have a poll from last month. Is that correct? He's doing it. He's doing it. He looks like that guy. Can you grow a beard real quick?
What guy? Oh, that guy, yeah.
So, Barry, did you have a poll from last week?
Yes, on our last show, which was not the 2020 awards, we talked about the awards that have been given out already in 2020. As you can see, that was our last show, 79. Good number. And I put a poll up asking which award best reflects your views. And I put a couple of answers there. The Spiel des Jahres, the Origins, the Asdor. And we got a load of results. And the most popular one is the Dice Tower Awards with 41% of the 365 votes. Which is big. Which kind of surprised me. In a way. Don't know about you guys.
I don't know if it surprises me exactly, but I 100% agree with it.
That's exactly my sentiments.
Mm-hmm. I look at all the different awards that you have listed here, and knowing something about the way that they go about selecting their nominees and the way they go about creating categories and the way they go about selecting the winners in the end, I just think the Dice Tower Awards have the best method of picking nominees and winners that represent a wide berth of hobby gamers that are sort of in the know, and I just think they do a fantastic job. So I wholeheartely agree the Dice Tower Awards is the best awards. There you go. That's definitive.
There you go. There you have it. It has. I have spoken, says Jamie Keagy.
That's right.
Well, that's our poll. We're going to move on to our next segment with our special guest. What game is behind the door?
Someone in Babblot has been a very naughty person and been thrown into the dungeons of Babblot.
But Berkey and Badger are nice people, and they're going to give them 3 questions to try and worm their way out of their prison sentence in What Game is Behind the Door?
Yeah, Kabuki Kid is in the chat along with Ben Lunches. And she made a comment just to follow up on our last topic real quick, though. But she said the Dice Tower, one of the weaknesses is that they do a lot with wargaming. And that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have more representation in that respect. I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thought. They probably don't have a lot of people that are in the reviewing connections there that are there used to be. What was
he's
that?
Gone, isn't he?
What was the other?
Who was the other wargamer? Joe Stedman, no?
Yeah,
more of a wargamer.
And what was the guy that was in law enforcement down in Texas?
Bart Brunchy.
Oh yeah, Bart, yeah. Yeah, interesting. Hey, Philip Millman's in the castle. So anyway, we have our topic of our game show. Barry, do you want to go through and explain that to our listeners?
Yeah, I will do. if you manage to win all 3 of these questions, Philip Millman's going to give you his trophy.
Oh, the
And then we
baseball
won't
highlights trophy.
Hopefully,
the
we won't
King
see any more
Ralph trophy.
photos. So yeah, we're going to do 3 questions and try and find out what some of Jamie's top games are at the moment. 3 different questions, 3 different answers, and 3 different ways of asking these questions and finding out the answers. We're going to be playing a game, and you at home can join us. And I need to switch off the comments because I don't want to see Kabuki Kid beat me again. So the first question we're going to ask is, which is the last game that Jamie has purchased? And we're going to do this in a 20-question style with Jamie responding with either a yes or a no. We're going to ask 5 questions each, and in between the questions, once we've both asked this question, Jamie's going to show us a piece, a component, just to help us along.
Well, of course, I'm going to start with my pat-at question. Does it fit? Is it the size of a Ticket to Ride size box?
It is absolutely not the size of a Ticket to Ride box.
No. Absolutely no.
Okay, obscure question. Is this a small family party style game?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
No party game. No party for you.
Okay. So now we go to the component moment, and let's zoom in on Jamie. And what is he going to show us in his very darkly lit room? Prison cell.
Okay, so it looks like it's a little wooden meeple in the that's black, painted black. That's a skull and crossbones, but little less piratey. Maybe it's piratey.
It is wooden meeple, yeah.
Yes, it is. The wooden meeple, black, skull and crossbones. There's a little one
on the top.
And
there's a 1 on it. Oh, that looks really cool.
So, any guesses, Mr. King, sir?
No. I don't have a guess for sure on that one.
No, I don't have a guess either, but I have a question.
I feel like I'm stumping.
Yeah.
Right now. All right. Is this a Euro game?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Is there a meeple piece exactly the same but with a number 2 on it? No, that was a bad question. That was a bad question.
I'll give you that one for free. No.
Okay. Is this game pirate-like? Is it pirate-related? My scurvy little friend.
It is not necessarily pirate-related.
Okay.
Okay. That's helpful.
Okay, so component moment number 2.
Oh, I bet I know.
He bets he knows.
Well, I have a guess and it just something clicked.
Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 components that are similar.
One's black, one's white.
Okay, these are little yellow components. It looks like there's a ship and like a little sailor dude.
Yeah, man with a pail. Sorry,
they're yellow. They're yellow.
Yes. So this is a ship right here, and this is a little like colonial-looking dude with a, he's got like a little tri-corner hat with a musket.
Okay.
Oh, it's a musket. It's not a.
It's a musket. Now I don't know. Okay. Okay, so now that throws me off a little bit.
That's what you should do. Is you'll shelf with Shane Berkey. You should just go and open up all the games. You don't need to leave them in their plastic, and then that way we might actually win one of these rounds. Because you go, oh, I got that game. Yeah, I remember that piece.
I could play this game show with myself because I don't know what those games are, right? Oh boy. So game you purchased. I was gonna say, I don't know if this fits now, but I was gonna say the new Gloomhaven version. What's it called? The
Jaws of the Lion.
Jaws of the
yeah,
Lion.
the tooth of the lion, the jaws of the lion. But that might
Well, it's not
fit. But okay,
Okay. I've
that's
got
my guess. You have
no
a guess?
clue whatsoever. No.
All right, number 3.
Question.
Oh gosh, was this put out in the last 2 years?
Yes.
That was my
So it's a
question.
newer game.
Let me. Yes and no. I don't know if that's a possible answer, but
That's a
yes
reprint then.
and no.
Oh, okay. So that's probably means that it's a reprint. Okay.
Holy crap, Batman.
Well, I know that there's a new game from Capstone, but I can't remember the name of it. Begins with an M.
Merchants and Marauders.
No, it's not Maracaibo. but-
Maracaibo, yeah.
No,
what
there's another one, isn't there?
Starts with an M. Don't remember.
Yeah. Okay, so it must not be that. See how I got you there?
Yeah, you go.
Just pulling information.
Yeah.
All right, Barry, you got a question?
Is it an area control game?
Yes.
Yes.
This is games that he is just the last game he purchased. Gosh, I'm trying to remember the last shows and see if you've talked about it. And I just drawing a blank.
Inside information.
I'll give you a clue. I have not yet played the game.
Yeah,
Ooh.
you probably
That
just
wasn't
come
the question.
in from the store.
All right. So we get our third or did you ask your
Third
question?
component. Third component.
Third
Third
component.
component? All right, let's go with this one. There's another 2 components, but they're kind of similar. So we're going to go with this. Can you see that?
Okay.
Well?
Is that a card or is it a tile?
It is a tile, thick cardboard
Wow.
tiles. This one says surprise attack on it. Has a little man with a musket peeking around the corner. This one is an industry tile, and it has like a factory on it with some icons. If you flip them over, they have some rules about those things on the back.
Well, that looks really good. I'll guess the colonists. That isn't right.
That is not correct.
I might have to ask a question before I guess that. So, well,
Okay, so is this a long type of epic game?
It is a very meaty game. Yes, it's a longer one.
So over a couple hours type of thing.
okay.
Okay.
Area controls, probably a war game.
Oh yeah. This makes for good radio.
This does make for good radio. I'm gonna.
Because he's stumping us on this one, you know.
Oh yeah, that's all right. I can snap all this out. I'm just cheating.
I'm remembering a title.
I'm not remembering anything, let alone the question. Time for maybe a bizarre question. Is this about colonizing America? Well, is the map America involved? That'd be easier to say.
No.
Wow.
Not necessarily, no.
Say, I remember. Go ahead and show us the fourth component, and then I'll see if I can place this.
All right.
H.
It's a giant die cube.
Wow.
Check marks on it and
Check marks.
the wacky icons.
It's blue, kind of a turquoise blue color. It looks like
It's definitely
Caribbean blue.
unique.
So I'm remembering this thing that says I'm thinking of the Glenn Grover game, and I know it's probably not that because that's the Age of Discovery, but it was like this Age of Sails or Age of Sail. There's a ship in one of his meeples. Age Is that something like that is clicking with me? But I don't know. Sail, Age of
No, but I bet Kabuki's got it. That dice is totally
Sail.
unique and.
Is there a game named Age of Sail?
Age of Sail. I don't know.
Probably. It's not that.
But it's not that.
Yeah.
All right. Barry, you have a question?
Like that? Not sure, but it ain't that.
I think you got a stump, but Barry, do you have a
No,
guess?
No.
Well, I think he's got a stump, so I don't think I don't know if any more questions are going to help us, but is this a USA publisher?
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I don't actually know where they're based, but I'm pretty sure it's America.
Okay.
United States.
Okay, my question is there a pirate skull with a number 3 on it?
No.
More obscure, boxers or briefs?
Boxers or briefs or au naturel?
Boxer briefs, actually.
No.
All right, last component.
Okay.
I'm giving you a big one here. I'm giving you the whole player board.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a dull player board. That's dull. Ugh.
There's a pretty good player board. It's in those new. This isn't the remake of Robinson Crusoe.
It is not. No. Big player board. All kinds of information there.
Yeah, read it quick, Barry. Read it. I can't read it.
I've got to look at I'll see where Kabuki's got it all. Early guesses. She thinks Gloomhaven. Oh, Ben says Gloomhaven. No, I'm totally stumped. I haven't even seen that anywhere.
Yeah. Well,
Endover.
I think you've stumped us there, Jamie. What is the game?
Well, it is a game that was published quite a while ago, and it was been reprinted in a deluxe edition by Eagle Griffin Games. It was kickstarted last year. The designer is my favorite designer of all time, Martin Wallace.
Okay.
New deluxe edition of Struggle for Empires.
Struggle for Empires.
Struggle of Empires. Deluxe edition. Beautiful production. Absolutely gorgeous game. This is a game that I've never played before, even its original edition. And I, saw it on Kickstarter. My co-host buddy Don, he said, "Listen, like you got to get this game. You love Martin Wallace. You're going to love this game." And I looked at it on Kickstarter, and I had to back it. It's 18th century, Age of Discovery and Age of Sail. There's 3 major wars throughout the entire game. You're going to make alliances with the other players. You're going to build up armies. You're going to build fleets, establish colonies, do economic stuff, wage war with each other, manage unrest in all of your colonies and that kind of stuff. So it's a big game, and it's beautiful. And
It looks great.
I'm very excited to play it.
Oh man, it looks awesome. I love Martin Wallace too.
In there, but it's mostly based in like European countries and things. So
yeah.
I can see how you answered those. Yeah. Okay, there you
All
go.
Right. Well,
So
you have 1 check towards your being released from the dungeon.
But will he have 2? The next question is, which is the game that he is most excited about getting, which he hasn't got yet? And with this, he's going to use his stolen whiteboard, which he's stolen from the bakery. And that's why he's in the dungeon. And he's going to doodle us, or he already has doodled us, a doodle. And we are going to try and guess again. Yes, Kabuki, you're right. That was super tough.
All right, so I'm doing a little doodle here. Gonna make sure this looks good.
Oh, yeah. It's got to look good. I mean, if it doesn't look as good as your hair, all slicked back like, I don't know, like a 1940s movie star, kind of, It's going for that,
All right.
What's that actor's name?
Oops, I want to add one detail here. I think this will help.
Oh, a bit of
I
color.
get a smaller pen for this one. All right, there we go.
It's
Now,
Bob.
here we go. I got to move my microphone a little bit here. So,
Even the microphone squeaks. And then the camera freezes.
here she blows.
And his whiteboard says quack. Okay. So he's excited about getting this game, and it's like a road. There's a wagon that says hot deals, not Hot Wheels, because it came after the wagon. But it looks like an old wagon. This is a really good drawing, actually. It looks like an old style, wagon that would carry coins, and it's going through a forest of evergreen trees, it looks like, in the evening. Oh, I know what this is. I backed it on Kickstarter, and I'm excited about getting it, and I can't remember the name.
Fail. You need to know the name without Googling.
It's the Trail of Darkness, or I backed this. I heard such great things about this.
Okay, we'll put on some intermission music while you refresh.
Come on, you know what it is too, Barry. Come on.
No, I don't go on Kickstarter unless a Kickstarter game comes through my
along
postbox.
the road of darkness, sir. along the
wagon wheels roll uphill at night.
No.
Trail.
Turkey, think.
Trail.
You got it. I know you got it.
I know I have it. I ordered it.
There's another head slap there. That wasn't me this time. No special effect.
The
Wizard of
darkness,
Oz.
the road,
The Empire
the
Strikes Back.
merchants of the dark road.
Venus.
Merchants of the dark road.
Oh,
Ah,
You got it, Turkey. You got it. Merchants of the Dark Road.
I'm having an old moment, I think, here.
Well, you got there. You managed to navigate the road to the proper information.
Yeah, you know the thing.
so what are you looking forward to this game then, Jamie?
Oh, I just think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the concept of the game is you got this, you're in the city, you're merchants, you're in the city, you're building up, like getting goods and piling them in your wagon. Your player board is like your old Varda, your merchant wagon, and you're putting goods in there, and you're hiring heroes to sort of protect your wagon, and then you venture out into the dark road, and there's all kinds of things out there that could attack you or mess up your day. The production of this game just is absolutely gorgeous. The artwork is fantastic. The deluxe components that they have in this Kickstarter are beautiful. It just looks like it's got everything that I want in a game. I'm a sucker for rondel games. I love Matt Gertz and all his rondel games, and this has a rondel mechanism in it. Only uses dice with the rondel. It's just everything about it. I was like, when I looked at it on Kickstarter, I could not stop myself from backing it, and I'm dying to get a hold of this one.
Yeah, I saw a review from Mark Streed, and then I started chiming in a little, and they started talking about it, and then Kevin Delp from Tantrum House was talking about it, and I just said, yeah, this looks really good.
It does indeed.
Who's the publisher of that again?
Elf Creek Games. Elf Creek Games.
Elf Creek Games. All right, Merchants of the Dark Road, Elf Creek Games. So we're 1-1. We're going to the tiebreaker. Does Jamie get out of the dungeon, or does he rot for eternity?
We'll see.
Okay, so what is Jamie's current favorite board game in this virtual format during quarantine? In a virtual format. You've changed the question.
Yeah.
Which is the game that he's been playing and dreaming of the most while we've been locked up in our own individual personal cells. And we're going to do this with 5 one-word clues given by our prisoner.
All right.
All right.
So are you prepared for the first clue?
Pen, paper, dictionary,
glasses. You wescooey wabbit.
All right. So the first one-word clue is DNA.
DNA.
Isn't that 3 words? Just abbreviate
Technically,
it down.
I guess you could say that, but DNA.
DNA.
Dumb know-it-all.
Okay.
DNA.
Playing a lot. DNA. Is it what's that? Oh, Arcane Wonders game. Virus, not Virus.
Virus was an Arcane Wonders game, yes.
Yeah, that's the one then. Sorry, I was thinking it was not
Viral.
It's about
That's the one.
viral. That's it. Yeah. Well, that's about viruses, not DNA. Close though, because a body is involved.
Okay, I bet you this. I don't know what digital format it would be on, if it's Tabletopia, but I know you like this game, but I don't know if it's available on there. But it like Dino Genesis, the dinosaur game.
Berkey. You
Am I
got
right?
it. It's called Dinogenics.
Dinogenics.
There. Dinogenics is the answer. My other clues were amusement, because it's an amusement park, fence, because you're building fences, carnivore, because dinosaurs and they're gonna break out and they eat people, and extinct was the last clue. You got it after one clue. I'm down here forever because of this.
Well,
and know what I like.
Blame the lawn. If he didn't have to cut the lawn, he wouldn't listen to your podcast, and then he wouldn't know what your favorite game was.
So all I have to do is pray for more grubs and skunks, and then we'll be out of the dungeon next year when I do this again.
If I catch you doing that, you will meet the skunk's demise. You don't want that. Well, I don't know. He's been a pretty good sport about all this, and I do have a little bit of advantage because I did know that he liked that game, and I think you preferred the game over Pandasaurus game.
Dinosaur Island.
Dinosaur Island, which I like Dinosaur Island, but I haven't played this one that you've referred to. And why do you like it better, and what format are you playing it on?
Well, yeah, first off, I'm playing it on Tabletopia. There's a version of it on Tabletopia.
Okay.
I'm sure it's on Tabletop Simulator as well. They usually have that one just has about everything. So I imagine you can get it over there too. But Tabletopia is where I was playing it. Dinogenics obviously is a Jurassic Park game without the intellectual property, right? And Dinosaur Island was the same theme. And now I know that most people out there like Dinosaur Island better than Dinogenics who have played it. But for me, the reason I like it is because thematically it's just right on point. Now, I will say this about Dinogenics. It doesn't do anything different. It's got that whole Agricola feel of building like the fences and, you know, like having that little concept. But that whole thing actually makes it feel more like I'm doing what I'm doing when I'm playing the game. I'm building fences that make paddocks for dinosaurs that I'm spending sets of cards, of DNA cards, to make those dinosaurs and breed them. And then they're in their little pens. And you're building, hotels and DNA research labs and little kiosks to buy dinosaur hats and things like that to build your park up, and having all those different people coming in and visiting your park and spending money at your park. And of course the dinosaurs can break out and eat your players, or eat your visitor meeples. So both games have those concepts, but I just like the way that Dinogenics implements it better. It's a sort of an older style Euro, like an Agricola style worker placement type game. And I just gravitate to that a little more. Though I like Dinosaur Island, I just happen to like Dinogenics better. And I just got the Controlled Chaos expansion because I backed that on Kickstarter, and it just showed up maybe a week and a half ago. Haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, but I'm dying to, because you can do aquatic dinosaurs now.
Okay.
Can you still like thrash the other players by just having a carnival that eats all your visitors?
You can make the dinosaur, the T-Rexes and the Velociraptors and all the different stuff, and they do break out and they eat all of your meeples if you let them. And actually in Dinogenics, that could be a strategy to just allow them to do that. And just take the damage that comes, because it might cost you more actions and things to actually prevent it than it takes to let them do it. And then just deal with the aftermath later with, you go to the marketing department and they deal with the bad press in their own way. So it's an interesting way it works, but yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. Okay. I won't be playing that then.
we need to come out with a a dinosaur theme game mat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's
That
not
would
a ton of dinosaur games, but you could get something that's kind of jungly or something that you could do other things, right?
Yeah, and a big fence around it with a hole in one section.
There you go. It'd be a great big arena. And that moves us right on into our next sponsorship before we go into our Babble topic.
This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
Well, thank you very much. You saw how easy it was to convert your existing table into a high quality board game table with a Game Topper. And we are shipping out now because our fulfillment is basically done in the US. We are shipping out product in every 2 to 3 days, sometimes the very next day. And we have ample stock of all of our different styles and models, the luxuriant oak, the premium walnut, all of our accessories, all of those kind of things, and the 16 different styles of thematic game mats, including the Ryan Lockett mat, the Scythe-inspired resource mat, the #1 selling Viking mat, and all of the others. They're all like my children. I love them all. They're all my favorites, but anyway, they're pretty cool. Go ahead and check us out at www.gametoppersllc.com, and you can late pledge and get in on all the gamer goodness. I know, Jamie, you are actually a Game Topper owner as well.
I have 2 of them. I have a Mycroft and a Watson, no more than 15 feet from me, and I use them every single day. Used them yesterday when I was doing my miniatures game day. We were playing on them. Beautiful. I cannot say enough wonderful things about Game Toppers. I love them.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know Barry has a Game Topper in France too. So.
Oh yeah, it's just there again. It's about another arm's length away from me, and it's got a prototype on it, which I can't wait to play. But I haven't got the rules because they haven't PDF'd them yet. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that soon.
Well, one I'll give you a little teaser here because you're on the show, Jamie. You are going to get a gift in the mail from Game Toppers, and you're going to see some new cool stuff.
Oh boy, can't wait.
But in addition, we've been working on our next Kickstarter and some of the new mats, and we have developed a lava field map that has a little volcano off in the distance, and the entire front of the mat is just lava. And the artist is Joshua Calloway, and it is really something. I will show pictures in the future, but this is something that we're going to have on our new Kickstarter with several new game mats. So Vincent Dutrait is working on a mat right now for us as well.
He's my favorite board game. He's my favorite game artist ever. Did beautiful artwork for Dungeons and Dragons and for all these different board games. Oh, I got to see that one. I love his artwork.
Yeah, he's lives in Korea. He's actually working on an Asian theme mat that's going to be ancient China we're going to call it the Great Wall. The sketches are all done. It's amazing. But he actually paints and then digitally renders. So they've had really high humidity in Korea, and for about 3 weeks he's been unable to paint. And I never put that together that the environmental condition could affect the way his process is. So
yeah, if someone sucked all the air out of this room, it would affect my working process. I wouldn't be able to breathe. And therefore wouldn't be able to
just laying on the floor,
flopping like a fish.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So we are going to go into the Babble topic.
That was my favorite segue of the entire show so far.
It hurts. And now it's time for the Babble, 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 Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble.
There we are. Well, we're babbling today about games that replaced other games, games that you are firing. You're fired. That's what we're talking about today. And basically, we're just taking a look at games that maybe a new game has come out that has similar mechanics. And once the new game come out, you really don't want to play the old game as much. In some cases, maybe you still keep it, but there are better games. So in a sense, they replace them or fire them. Just recently on an episode of the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast Express episode, I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was actually our main show. We do this discussion topic every now and then.
Okay. Well, because you did a remake of the discussion topic. Yeah. And I didn't want to, with this show idea, we didn't want to copy what you were doing, but I thought it was something that we haven't talked about in a long time. And then when you were willing to come on the show, I thought this might be just a perfect way to kind of revisit that a little bit. And we're going to each give our listeners a few of the games that we think fit that category. But tell us a little bit, Jamie, what you feel about this concept of replacing or firing board games.
Well, first off, let me say, don't feel bad about stealing this discussion topic because we just stole it from a geek list on BGG at one point. Well, the first time we did it was, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, and it was just a geek list. And I was like, that's a great discussion topic. I'm stealing it. So, hey, listen, we all borrow, so it's all right.
Yeah.
This idea of firing other games, it's very interesting because the concept is sound. And, you were saying like mechanisms, having similar mechanisms. That's not the only criteria that I think of. I think, of course, mechanisms could be part of it. But thematically, what situation I'd be playing this game in with other people. Thematically, if the theme is stronger in this one than that one, but they have similar ties. Those things all go into it. And you said, they get out of your collection. I'll tell you, all the games on the list that were fired in my list, they're not out of my collection. They're still there somewhere. But when I go to look at them, I have to decide, am I going to play this one or that one if I'm in this mood? And I just go for this other one more because of these reasons, right? So I think it's a very sound discussion because, today trends are a big deal. Viking games are a huge deal. People are always Viking games, zombie games, Cthulhu games, there's thematics get really crazy, and also styles of games. Today, roll and writes are going wild. How many roll and writes can you possibly have in your collection that you're gonna play consistently? So there's always that one that beats out the other. So it's a fun discussion to have. If you like this game, you might like this other one a little better for these reasons. That's why I think it's a fun discussion to have.
Yeah, and I like the way you framed that. You might like these games better. I heard something. This was a while back, but it bothered me the way it was framed. It was like, I'll never play that other game again. That game sucks because this one is better. Right. And I was kind of like, well, hold it. That's subjective. And well, maybe it's a better game. Maybe not. I don't know. But the particular game that it was referencing, I didn't agree with that concept at all. So the way it was framed kind of bothered me. But I love the way you just framed that. Maybe you'll like this better because, and I had the exact same situation. I was thinking, well, they didn't really fire him because I didn't just sell those games. I still have the other games.
Yeah, right.
And in the right situation, I still like them. What are your thoughts on that there, Sir Badger?
My thoughts, it's that's one of the kind of like points that really kind of brings the hobby down for me is the fact that, someone can actually take that idea and just change this little thing here and then repackage it as a new game. That kind of always kind of bugs me because sometimes you do fall in love with a game, like you fall in love with Hero Quest, and then you try to search online for a new, some expansions for it, and you don't find expansions, but you find another game, Dungeons and Dragons board game, and so you buy that, and then that has that little mechanic which is slightly different. So you replace Hero Quest in the corner, you got that, and then you hear about Descent, and then it's like you play that, and that's the sad thing. You just kind of like you lose that memory and you lose that game. I'm kind of probably very clingy. I like having that, that childhood first kiss, and I wanted to marry that girl and still be with that childhood first kiss, and that would have been great. But no, I've had lots of childhood kisses, but no bragging. It's like the kisses that I'm getting now are probably not as memorable as that very first kiss. So it's as I said, it's the saddest part about the hobby. You find something else which replaces something which was a treasure, and then it goes out the door, or you give it away. But it's good in a way because it culls your collection, so to speak.
Yeah, that was one thought I had about that. When there's so many games that are out, right? There's so much out there, and as your shelves start filling up, and you're feeling the need to play these games that you loved, but you no longer play them. And then, I struggle with that all the time, but then also just needing to make space sometimes, taking a look at some of these games that, hey, this one is better. I get the same feeling, and I really don't need that one anymore. It might help in determining what to call or not. The Great Purge.
The Great Purge. Oh, no. The Great Giveaway. Someone comes around my house and plays a game with me and say, oh, do you want that? I'll give you that as well.
Yeah, I've been doing that too.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get into it then. Jamie, would you like to start telling us one of the games that you think fires another game?
Absolutely. So the game that will be fired in my first selection here is a classic game. It's one of the most popular games in the world, and it is Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride is a great game of route building, set collection, all this different stuff with a railroad theme. The game that will fire it is a game that I have very recently played that is even simpler to learn and play.
No.
But it is so much deeper and complexity. It's so much deeper in strategy than Ticket to Ride. And it is Ride the Rails from Capstone Games. It's originally a Winsome game. So this one, literally, this game is one sheet of paper, front and back. That's the rules. And that front sheet is half set up with some pictures. That's how easy this game is to play. And it's all about building routes across the United States. And of course, there's I believe a France and a Germany map as an expansion. And you're building routes across the United States. Each one of the cities has little passenger meeples in it. And after you've taken a turn of building some routes, you take a phase of taking one of those passengers and moving them across a bunch of different routes. And you will earn money based on how much stock you have in that particular railroad company, the different colors of the different railroad companies. And all the players have stock in these different companies. So all the players will score money when they go over certain colored routes, even when other players move those passengers. So the simplicity of the game is just dead simple. But wow, is it complex when you get into the thought processes and the calculations that you have to do for making that perfect move when you send those passengers down the rails and everybody makes a bunch of money off of it. Beautiful game. I absolutely love it. And it's going to fire Ticket to Ride for me because I could teach this game to anybody and they'll know exactly how to play in 5 minutes or less. And they'll get a richer experience, I think, out of Ride the Rails than they would Ticket to Ride.
Wow. Capstone is really just doing some amazing stuff, aren't they?
You can say that again. They're becoming one of my favorite publishers because just every game after the next comes out is fantastic. They know how to pick them. Yeah, I agree. I think they really are doing awesome. Clay has built this thing right from the ground up. And really just done a fantastic job. Well, that's interesting. Barry, you want to go next?
Yeah, no problems. Very simple. A game came out on Kickstarter a while ago, and I was lucky enough to play the prototype. And this game was called Conan from Monolith, which is this mix of miniatures on a board with Euro-style mechanics. Never guess what will replace that, will you?
Batman.
Yeah. The next evolutionary step was Batman. They tweaked the rules a bit. They've made it a lot more kind of a better game in a way, due to the fact that the characters actually do feel like the characters that you know and love from the comic books. Their powers are more relatable. Everyone's a bit more balanced. The scenarios you can relate to because you've read the stories. And again, that's kind of not a thing to compare with Conan, because again, I'd never read Conan, so I don't know the history and I don't know the characters and everything. But this was a lot more kind of streamlined, balanced, apart from setup and everything. But this is a no-brainer for me. I bought a lot of Conan, and now I need to, that space has been made free for Batman, which it fits my personally. It's basically a genre that has replaced the game more than anything else. It's basically the same mechanisms. As I said, it's just slightly streamlined, and it plays. I miss playing it. It's just it's calling to me. That mountain of cardboard and plastic is calling to me.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous production. We got to play that when you were here. Well, one of the games that, and I got to be honest, it's been a while since I've played it, and I really would like to play it again. But one of the games that canceled a game for me is the game Caverna canceled Agricola for me. I thought Agricola was fine, but I kind of got a little bit annoyed with feeding the people, that type of thing. It's a great worker placement game. I love, Uwe Rosenberg's games, but I just love the theme of Caverna. I think there was some things that kind of simplified a little bit of the worker placement in that game, and the overall aesthetics of the game itself with the animals and the dwarves and all of that kind of thing just fit really well for me. And every time we've played Caverna, we always had just super positive experiences. A couple times back in the day when we played Agricola, there was kind of some, I don't like this or I don't like that. And we never have had that with Caverna. So it's not a great explanation because, like I said, I haven't played either of those games in a while. But Caverna is definitely one that has replaced Agricola for me. And I actually don't have Agricola in my collection anymore. Tony would not agree with this, right?
And no, he would not. And I think a lot of people wouldn't actually agree. But but I see exactly your point. I think that these games are made for two different people. Two different types of people. Agricola is, I would call it a streamline, even though it came first, it's a more streamlined version because there's way less stuff in Agricola than there is a Caverna. Caverna, it's like Uwe Rosenberg threw everything in, including the kitchen sink.
Yep.
And it's just a beast of things. There's so many components in that box, but it gives you the freedom to do anything you want. You can raise cattle, you can raise horses and dogs and sheep, and you can grow vegetables. You can build burrow through the mountain and build rooms in there. And there's like 3 dozen rooms that you can possibly build, and they all do different things. You can go out adventuring if you want. It's a great game. I love Caverna, and I love Agricola as well. Caverna is a way less frustrating game, so I just think they're made for two different people.
Yeah, I think you explained what I was feeling very well there, because they're both really great games. I'm sitting there while I was looking at my games. I was sitting there, and right next to it is Feast for Odin. And I just absolutely adore Feast for Odin.
That's my favorite from him.
It's the best. I just, it's got the Tetrisy thing going on, but it has, there's 62 spots to go on. But I find none of that confusing at all, actually. It's so intuitive for me for some reason. But it's not like it replaced Caverna for me because they're too different. There's just two totally different games and yet similar things. But I thought Caverna and Agricola were more similar as far as that went. But that's a tough one when you get into worker placement genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'll replace any worker placement. I'll keep them all.
Keep them
They're
all.
good.
So, Jamie, what's your second one?
All right, so my second one is a game that I've loved for years. The one that was fired. Fantasy Flight reprinted it ages ago from Tom Jolly, Wiz War. Wiz War is a game that I adore. This game, you know, you're wizards, you're playing spell cards, you're running around a little labyrinth, you're trying to steal the treasure of the other wizards, or kill the other wizards to score points. And I just love that concept, that simple concept of running around in a labyrinth and doing those things. But it is dated. It's an 80s game that Fantasy Flight brought back and didn't change that drastically, just a little bit to like kind of update it a little bit. And I love that game. But the game that fired it is a new game called Black Rose War. And I backed this one on Kickstarter. And when I got it, this game is Wiz War, only it's beefed up. It's got more strategy. It's got a little bit of, it feels a little like worker placement in that you're moving your wizards into different rooms. You have a movement that you move. And then when you land on the space, you will do the action of the space, but then you're throwing spells down through via cards and like casting spells, fireballs on the other wizards, and you know, all kinds of crazy things. And of course, the production is stellar. There's awesome miniatures in the game. There's a cool card play concept with your little tableau there that you can see on the screen right now. It's just a really, really neat, updated, more like meaty version of Wiz War. And pretty much at this point, if anybody says I want to play wizards, I want to play fantasy wizards, I'm like, all right, Black Rose War is the one to go to. Wiz War is just a little bit dated, I think, at this point.
Yeah, that looks amazing. The newer version there, or the, you know, that looks really something. All right, Sir Barry.
Okay, kind of cheating because this has fired a game for me personally. We all know and love the wonderful, wonderful art of Dixit. And it's still on my shelf, but that's mainly because it's my wife's game now. I don't want to play that. If you want to play a game with beautiful art and tell stories and try and guess cards, the game that's replaced it for me is Greenville 1989. It is...
Not familiar with this one.
It should be coming to America at some stage. It's storytelling with cards, but it's based in the horror genre. So all the card art is kind of Dixit
Speaking my
style.
language.
It's all Dixit style, but as you can see, there's like cult classic little things in the artwork itself. So you might see a little red balloon. You might see a particular mask. And basically, you're playing teenagers who are in 80s arcade. You go into the bowling alley, all of a sudden there's this Cthulhu disruption of time and space, and you're all in these different locations. And so you'll get a card, and then you have to make up your story for your character, where they are, and explain to a storyteller who has some other cards. And they are going to kind of try and guess where you're going to go next by your story that you tell about your card in front of you. And then some cards are placed out in front. They play these cards out face up. And then the players themselves have got to guess which card they've allocated to them to tell the next part of the story. And you're trying to get out the rift by creating a little tableau of 4 cards to get out. It's just mind-blowing. You really get into the role-playing of the game. It's really simple. It is Dixit, but it's role-playing. And I can't wait for the new game which is coming, which is Paris 1889, which is coming later this year from Sorry We Are French. But that's Greenville 1989, which has replaced Dixit and any other game like that, like the detective... Oh, what was it called? There's a detective one as well. But anyway, I'm blabbering now because I just want to play this game right now because I'm in the mood. I'm watching Ash versus the Evil Dead at the moment, so I'm in a horror mood for blood and guts and storytelling.
Well, that game looks great. Like I said, I never heard of that one. I just looked it up. I want a copy of this game now. You're speaking my language with the horror theme. I'm ready. I'm ready to get this game. I got to find this one now.
Yeah, and then
awesome.
you've got to get a big group of people and just go on this mind-bending adventure and make up your kind of your Stranger Things, so to speak, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you kind of the kids of it trying to get away from Pennywise.
Yeah. So do you know the company that's going to be bringing it to the U.S. or North America?
I don't know. I got Cosmos and Sorry We Are French, but
okay. So it could be Thames and for Cosmos, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, my number 2. This is kind of interesting for me, but this is one of the first worker placement games that I really loved. It's more of a gateway worker placement game, but I still remember watching the video of this game on tabletop with Will Wheaton, and it's the game Stone Age. And I still remember how funny that episode was because they had the breeding hut there, and the one gal said, "Yeah, that's where the aggressive breeding happens." and it just became a constant joke for us whenever we play this game. But it's just so simple. It's easy to teach. It's easy to get to the table, but it's fairly basic. And when Lords of Waterdeep came out, I just loved the theme of Lords of Waterdeep, and I just enjoyed the artwork. There was a few things that bothered me, but when they came out with the Skullport expansion for Lords of Waterdeep, I was just like, I really like this with Skullport. It just added those extra spaces that you could go to. It created just a little bit extra with the curses and how to mitigate that a little bit, gave you more choices. And then the theme was just great. So I really liked Lords of Waterdeep with the Skullport expansion over Stone Age. But then I almost wanted to say I could take it another notch and say that the game Yedo, Yedo, would replace both of them, because I love that theme in Yedo, and the way the spots work in Yedo is really fantastic. But Yedo always takes us 4 hours to play.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but we love that game. But it there's more missions and different things that you can kind of do, and I'm not sure why if we interact with some of the drafting and all that. But nonetheless, Lords of Waterdeep with Skullport expansion does that for me over Stone Age, but I still own all 3 of them.
I would disagree with you there. Stone Age is better than Lords of Waterdeep, even with the Skullport expansion. Just cleaner and friendlier, and I don't know, maybe I'm just too Stone Age myself, maybe. But
I will admit that I have never played Stone Age. It's a classic game that it's shameful that I never got to play it. I do like Lords of Waterdeep quite a bit. I think it's a great game, and I can't agree with you more that Yedo is the best. Yedo takes down Lords of Waterdeep. That is, if you wouldn't have said that, that's what was in my mind. I was like, man, Yedo takes out Lords of Waterdeep, man. I love Yedo. And this new deluxe edition that was on Kickstarter looks absolutely gorgeous. I was dumb and didn't back it and should have.
I didn't back it either.
Yeah. Great game, though.
Well, that's Scott Alden is in the castle, and he said that Yedo was too mean for him.
Ah.
Yeah, it can be a little bit punishing if you don't get the right spot and collect the right things. But
you play those cards to move the guards to lock down all those spaces.
Yep.
And your opponents are on those spaces and they're mad now. Yeah, you can get there. It's a little take that.
I like what Barry says though too, because I still like Stone Age. I'll play Stone Age any day of the week, and it fits, I think, a little bit different gamer group too, because it feels more gateway to me.
It's definitely more gateway. And again, where there's no text on the cards, so you're just looking at icons and going, okay, yeah, I've made my assumption. I know where I'm going to go. Whereas to get the feel of Dungeons and Dragons, you have to read the text and get the character stories and background, why this mission's doing this, and it's like, after a while, you don't even read it, and it's just, okay, do I really need to put them there? And it just felt kind of wishy-washy, and I kind of lost the feel. It's like, why 3 wizards and a dwarf to go and do that mission? Why can they?
Well, one thing too,
tacked on.
I trick out all my games, so I do have Stone Age tricked out, but I also have Lords of Waterdeep tricked out with a bunch of Meeple Source special character meeples instead of and I've got special coins for Lords of Waterdeep that have the little crescents and they're metal, and it's just cool. So I could have almost thrown in there Pillars of the Earth too, because it's like, gosh, I love that game too, but I feel these other ones were kind of the direct ones that replaced it for me. But all right, let's go to our last game from each of us. Sir Jamie of Keagy, tell us your last one.
Right. So my final game that's getting the can is going to be another classic game, another one of the most popular games in the world, Pandemic. Pandemic is being fired, and it is being fired by a absolutely fantastic game called Black Orchestra. Black Orchestra is a cooperative game about the real life story of Americans and Allied forces going into Germany, going undercover as Nazis, trying to assassinate Hitler. And there's a movie about this. The Tom Cruise movie Valkyrie was about like this assassination attempt against Hitler that obviously failed. And in this game, just like Inglourious Bastards, you can change history and actually assassinate Hitler if you're successful. So the concept of the game is you're these various characters who are actually real life characters, real life people from these different missions that were that they undertook during World War II. You're moving around Europe. You're trying to collect up various documents and different components, essentially, that go into performing a plan to assassinate Hitler. And everybody's going around trying to collect up different things, and they have different plans that they could enact, missions that they can enact. And at a certain point, you have to decide which one of these missions you're more likely to succeed at. You're like, okay, we're going to do this one. And then you're going to like do the last minute preparation and then go to the certain places and position yourself on the right places and then attempt to assassinate Hitler at that point. It is a great game. It is so much fun. There's so much coordination in the game. There's so much table talk and discussion about which plan is the best plan and who's going to go get what items and this and that. And all the while, like Hitler's kind of moving around Europe, and you have to make sure that you kind of monitor where he's moving and make sure that you're positioning yourselves properly with that. And the game is chocked full of history. If you play with a World War II buff, they revel in this experience because every card that comes up, they're like, I remember reading about how this happened, and they tell the story of what happened in history about that card, and every card just comes up with more history about this era. And it's just a wonderful game. It's so well designed. The production is beautiful. The graphic design and artwork and everything is just great. Black Orchestra, I'll play that any day in the week over Pandemic at this point. It's my cooperative game of choice at this point.
Okay. You wet my whistle because in the very limited time that I have, I've started watching Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, baby.
And so, I mean, I'm baited.
I think you'll like it. If you like cooperative games, it's a great one, and you're interested in that World War II stuff. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I did think you were going to say something else because my next one is replacing Pandemic as well. And I thought you were going to say this. I was going, no, you steal my thunder.
Ooh.
This is quite an easy one to replace. Pandemic was replaced by Defenders of the Realm. Again, same mechanics, exactly the same mechanics, few little bits tweaked, but it's the theme. The theme comes through so much easier than the Pandemic one. The Pandemic felt very cold. and calculated. I will never forget a couple of games that I've played with some players, and they are cold, calculated players, and they will, 4 rounds before the end, they say, we've lost. There's no way we're going to do this. And you're like, yeah, we can find a way to do this. And it's like, no, we've lost. And they kind of like give up playing. It's like, oh, what's the point? Whereas in Defenders of the Realm, you never get that because anything can happen. There could be a gleam of light at the end of the tunnel, or there might be total blackness after the end of a particular turn, because there's so much going on. And as I said, it just feels like fantasy. You're working together, but you're also working independently. You might have your own quest to go and find these special boots which will make you run a bit quicker on the next turn, or give you an extra die to roll. There's all these little distractions, but at the same time, it's the same thing. It's this omnipresent, you're playing against a deck of cards and things are moving around and you've got to stop them from moving or deplete them in places to stop them from propagating. Wow, where are these big words coming from at this time of night? But yeah, Defenders of the Realm easily pushed out Pandemic for me as the kind of cooperative game that I will always play. But that probably now would be pushed out by your game. I'm going to have to edit the podcast to remember what the game's called.
Defenders of the Realm is a wonderful game. I love it. And Black Orchestra didn't fire Defenders of the Realm for me. I think they're different enough thematically and mechanically that I could play both anytime. I'm very excited. Richard Launius has been talking for a while now about his new edition of Defenders of the Realm that's going to come out. I'm fired up about it. He's even talking about it, campaign mode and all this different stuff. Oh, I love Defenders of the Realm, and I got a lot of Defenders of the Realm junk over in my game room. I might have to replace it with a new Kickstarted version.
Yeah, Richard, King Richard is one of my favorite designers too. I love him, and such a great guy. I've had the opportunity to play test games with Arcane Wonders with him, and he's working on a new superhero theme game with them. He actually owns a couple game toppers. It was a funny little story, but we were at Grand Con, and he had his Batman game with IDW. And he looked at, we had our small Adler topper, the 3 foot by 4 foot. And he goes, I don't know why anybody would really want that. He just came and told me that. he said, I just play on the table. Why would I want that? Well, I said, well, I gathered a few people together to demo his game, and we played his game on the game topper. And he all through the game, as he was teaching it, he goes, this is kind of nice. This was really comfortable. I thought this was way more comfortable than I thought. I don't know why I wouldn't want to have this. And and by the end of it, within a couple of weeks, I get this call from him. He goes, I want to buy a couple of those toppers. I can't stop thinking about them, and I want to have them for my play group. So that was pretty sweet.
Well, I was thinking, because Jamie's just said about there's a new version coming of Defenders. I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to buy it. And I know my daughter's going to beg me to buy it. But then I just realized one of the things that will definitely persuade me to buy it is I'm sure that the components are going to be 1,000 times better than the ones that were in the
You
game.
bet they will. They'll hook you in somehow, won't they?
They will indeed.
All right. Well, my last game here is a game that is we played the mess out of this game, and it has a Yahtzee mechanic, and it was very well received in the community and sold in big box stores. But it's King of Tokyo is the game that is fired now by a new game that I just like so much better, but has a similar kind of one against all or all against battle royal type of feeling. Can still play it with up to 8 players on this game, but rather than using that Yahtzee mechanic and rolling dice 3 times, you actually have cards that you're playing, and each of you have a little bit different abilities and different card play, if you will. And it's the game Ultimate Warriors. Ultimate Warriors, you have these standees, and you can probably put up some graphics here too, but
alternate warriors.
everybody gets their own, you get your own deck of cards depending on the player that you are, and you have different abilities. Like one guy might be just this massive beast that takes all kinds of hit points, but he's kind of slow and can't maneuver as well, and his cards reflect that. And you have these cards that everybody is playing. You actually use the box as part of the arena, which is really cool. But this game is so much fun. And now whenever we get together and are playing a bigger game that's still simple to teach, easy to get to the table, that has that type of, I mean, it's a take that game. Everybody's battling one another. But there's something about that card play that is just so fun about having these actions in your cards that you can play. It has more complexity, obviously, than King of Tokyo, but not difficult.
But it's not dice. It's not a replacement, then, is it?
This is
kind of this. Go ahead.
No, this is not one that I'm familiar with either. I'm taking a look at it now. So you said this is called Ultimate Warriors, right? With a Z at the end.
Correct.
Warriors with a Z at the end. That's what it is. That's what you're having trouble with. There's no S at the end there.
Yeah, Warriors.
And
it's not Matago.
It's not alternative warriors. It's ultimate warriors. So
Yeah.
you stinking American accents. Oh yes, I remember this game. Yes, I remember this.
You know,
Yeah,
so
this one looks like a lot of fun. This one almost looks like a wrestling game, only with monsters, because they got the ring with the different creatures in it.
yeah, it's
looks
a
neat.
battle royal type of thing, but it's kind of that same. You know, you're rather than attacking Godzilla in Tokyo, you know, you're all kind of attacking one another. But the way you collect the hit points, the way you utilize your cards to move or inflict damage or to give defense. It just adds another layer of it, and I'll play this one over King of Tokyo any day. So, not really the same game, but it has a similar feel to it.
Yeah.
Not the same game. Yeah, I replaced Monopoly with Rallyman.
Yeah,
But they both got cars in them, and they go around in a circuit.
I see what you're saying. It's sort of a King of the Hill kind of game with monsters. There you go. Right?
Yeah. There you go.
I saved it. Can I get out of the dungeon now?
You saved it and have taken away my shame.
Well, I think these lists were great. Every single one of them I agree with. Good stuff.
Well, this is a lot of fun. I think what's so great about gaming is there's just so much out there. There's so many different games that we're all going to have different perspectives on. But now that there's such a wealth of those games, that we're even having this conversation, that we like this one better because of, you know, having this discussion. It's remarkable.
And I got to tell you that my game toppers fired playing games on folding tables, naked folding tables.
Yeah, there you go. I like what you did there.
Naked. Well, is that like a segue?
He didn't hear game toppers. He just heard naked.
Yeah, I just heard naked.
Well, Jamie, again, I just can't thank you enough for being such a good friend of the show and friend of Game Toppers, but more importantly, just our friendship and interaction. I treasure it, and so glad to have you on the show here. Thank you for taking the time out to do this with us.
Well, absolutely, Berkey and Barry as well. I appreciate you having me on the show. Had a great time today. I'll always do it anytime you ask. Love it.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, Michael says this will warm your heart, Jamie. He filled out the pledge manager for the Secret Cabal yesterday, and he got the Game Topper mat with the bag.
That's right.
So your late pledge manager for your Kickstarter just launched, right?
That's right. Yes. Anybody who wants to support the Secret Cabal, our podcasts and our videos and all the other stuff we do, you go to thesecretcabal.com and there's a big banner at the top. You can late pledge all kinds of great stuff. Of course, Berkey with the Game Topper mats. We have a beautiful Game Topper mat this year with the Secret Cabal Warriors crest on it. It's going to be great. I can't wait to get my own. I got to see that on my table. And of course, we got our Secret Cabal game bag and pint glasses, whiskey glasses, all kinds of great stuff for you over there.
Yeah, so they can find you at thesecretcabal.com. They can find you
That's right.
on Kickstarter and on Twitter, Facebook, all of that.
Yep, iTunes, Spotify, the other one,
Stitcher.
Stitcher. That's right.
Stitcher.
Yep, your podcast player of your choice. There it is, the Kickstarter Secret Cabal.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I love your shows, love your content, love the founders, and love the crew over at the Secret Cabal. It's always a big joy. Want to also let you know that we want to thank our sponsor, Arcane Wonders, and you'll be seeing some posts on Facebook and Twitter about the contest where you can win Smartphone and Smartphone Inc. 1.1. And all you have to do is have the hashtag smartphone contest and take a selfie picture that resembles either of the two covers. And at the end of this campaign, at the end of October, we will actually pick that winner, and Arcane Wonders will be sending you a copy of Smartphone and Smartphone Inc. Check out all of the other great offerings that they have at arcanewonders.com. And Barry, where can people find Berkey and Badger?
Well, they can find us on the usual spaces here on Facebook, Berkey and Badger, on the Board Game Geek Guild 2248, where we'll be posting another poll about games that have been kicked out, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be a good poll.
Yeah, I think I'll steal that idea from somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can also find us on Berkey's website called boardgametheatre.com, or my website, boardgameseverybodyshould.com.
You can find this.
Nacho!
I thought you were going the Michael Buffer route there with let's get ready to rumble.
No, I can feel the air being sucked out this room. I'm probably going to be on the floor flapping like a fish in a minute. So, all right, let's finish this podcast.
Well, that's fantastic. And feel free to check out our iTunes Libsyn site as well, because Barry takes this live show that's done on YouTube with StreamYard and Facebook and puts it into a really a better format than he cuts out all the nonsense. And no, he doesn't cut out the nonsense. He just makes it look better. Because then he'd have to cut me out, right?
Yeah, we can put like I can put like flies flying around the feces of Jamie's cell.
That's right.
I can make that 3D and make it go in your left ear and then your right ear.
Awesome.
So yeah,
awesome.
So that's the kind of things I do.
I think we'll release Jamie from the dungeon so he can go continue making podcasts. You know,
okay,
he's
thank
really
you.
good for it.
Thank you. You need something to do while you're mowing that lawn and chasing those skunks away.
Hey, it's been fun, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Love to get your feedback in the poll and everything. And
we're so glad we had this time together. Now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Berkey and Badger will be back in no time.